What do you have here?
Well,
tell me about the car and what's going on with it.
Well, we have a 2006 Toyota Prius, and it has a unique problem, which is actually pretty common with Gen 2s, which is a water leak in the back. On the seams here, the welds would fail, and so I had a crack along this line, and then on the opposite side, just below the hinge piston thingamajigger right there. So I just caulked that up with some simple caulk, and that solved the water problem. But the water dripped in and corroded one of the connectors right here. You can see the aftermath from that damage. This is after cleaning it up and trying to fix it, but
you can see the green corrosion where it was pretty heavy there in some areas. Well, what was this causing? What did you see while you were driving?
So actually, there was no cause while I was driving, but after I just fixed the water leak, kind of pulled off the panels here, I saw that corroded sensor, so I pulled it out and tried to clean it off and put it back in, and immediately right after that, I had a red triangle of death. The dreaded red triangle of death for Prius owners.
Okay, so unplugging it and plugging it back in is what did it.
That's right. Don't ever do that.
So what we found, guys, after we scanned the codes in the vehicle here, we have a P0A84. And what this code is, this is a code for the control circuit of the battery pack cooling fan, which is this fan right here. We've already connected it to 12 volts to make sure that it works fine. The connectors on the fan itself look good, but I noticed while wiggling this connector that the fan would start, stop, start, stop. You'd get the red triangle of death, as you can see up there on the display, and that sets this code here. The reason the battery pack has to be cooled is because as a car decelerates and accelerates, it's pulling current in and out of the battery, and that causes heat. So this fan keeps it cool. If the fan doesn't work, the battery pack can overheat. That's why it goes into this mode. So, as he explained earlier, we had water running down. As you can see, it got in the connector there. But what we found was, when I took this connector apart here, there's good terminal tension between these two black terminals here, but on the orange one there wasn't. And what I found was the terminal had actually broken. The corrosion just weakened it to the point where it broke off, and that's why we don't have good terminal tension anymore. And if you don't have good terminal tension, that's going to cause a problem with the circuit, hence the issue here. Now, I want to show you guys something. Actually, here, you take the camera, and I'm going to show them what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug these two terminals in here. See that? And now the cooling fan works. But notice how they're very loose, and hear that clicking? They're not tight like this black one is here. This black one is nice and snug. The orange one's very loose. See that? And that's what was causing our problem. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put the black terminals back into the connector here, and we're just simply going to bypass this connector with the orange wire here. We're just going to hardwire it together, solder it back in place, clear the codes, and that should fix the problem on this car. Now, I didn't take all the body panels out and everything to get to this, but there are a few things you'll need to do this job. One, you're going to need a little needle here, okay? The needle is going to be used to get these terminals out if you want to try to clean them up like I did. Secondly, you'll need a scan tool. These are expensive. Not everybody has these things. Not even I have this. I borrowed it. So you will need a scan tool. And third, you're going to want to have a voltmeter. The other thing I was able to do is check for voltage at the connector here, and I found I had good voltage on one side of the connector, but I did not have consistent good voltage on the other, which usually indicates corrosion, as you can see here. So we're going to just cut these off here. We're going to hardwire this back together to get this car back on the road and get the red triangle of death going away. So here's our electrical repair, and as you can see, we've got the orange wires connected here, and the fan is running. So that's a fix. We no longer have the code. The cooling fan is working. I'm just going to put a little insulation around this to protect those terminals, and then we'll go back together, and this car will be fixed. Commanding the different speeds here. And just like that, there we go. No more red triangle of death. Looks good. Cleared all the codes. Everything looks fine. And that's all it was. That was a quick and easy fix. Yep, so now the engine is charging the battery with no more warning lights. Anyways, thought you guys might find that interesting.